Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for sharing your Saturday afternoon with us. We have very nice information about building very economical, cheap. And the best way to build it cheap and economical, to my knowledge, is pole system. We call it pole barn, but it doesn't have to be a barn. It could be an office, it could be a shop, it could be a full residence. There was one guy who was supposed to click. Yes. My name is Gil Taha. I work for Precision Structural Engineering. I also was the former associate professor of civil engineering at Oregon Institute of Technology. We have more information, guys, on our website, which is structure1.com, if you'd like to go there. Also, you can drop me an email, and I will answer it for free of charge. Our free initial consultation, all for free. Pole barn started really in the old days like a barn, whether it's a horse barn or whatever, and a shed, but really evolved now to be almost everything, as I'm going to share with you. Here's the shop. Here's another shop, and there could be office building, as I'm going to share with you. Francis, could you hit return when I ask you, if you don't mind?
It's really slow.
Yeah. Hold it here near the computer, if you don't mind. Okay, here you go. An office
Space
building.
bar.
Just a shed, like a canopy or something. A garage.
Space bar, yep. No. The big long one, there you go. And it's slow.
Yes, sir. Great. As you go, it could be a picnic shed. It could be a hay barn. It could be anything that you want. Pole barn will serve you the way you want. Just hit it here. There you go. Who said pole barn should be 1 story? It could be 2 story. Actually, my office, when we grew, we made it 2 story. It was just fine. It could be a shop, or it could be a farmer market. You just name it. The building whole system is diverse. Here you go. How about airplane hangars? A garage for your. Anybody has airplane here? Because I'm a poor guy. I don't have one. Anybody has? No. Yes. Okay. For future airplane. Residence. Here you go. A single-story pole barn residence. A 2-story pole barn residence. That's my old office, ladies and gentlemen, which I made it 2 stories, where I started my business. And when the business grew, I hired some people like Francis. Then the money became even less. Go ahead, Francis. Here you go. Who said that you cannot have a party or even a wedding in a pole barn? Here you go. Another one. Fall 2. The whole idea, guys, of the pole barn, they act as a tree. You know the tree has root in the ground? That's what we created, and that's what the young lady, successful young lady did. You see that? When the pole is buried in the ground, we most likely fill concrete around it and act as a root. So the poles in the ground act as a tree. Roots in the ground, hold the ground very tight and go vertical, not only to support the vertical load like snow and light loads, but also will resist the wind and seismic load. So by fixing it or burying it in the ground, very much like trees for roots for trees. The end gable wall, be careful guys, the end gable poles has to go all the way. It's longer than at the eave, so the length of the pole will not be the same, will be varied at the end wall. And the connection that the truss come to the pole, you have to pay attention to this one. You might want to put some bolts and more nails when the truss come to the pole. That's where the load, the vertical load, go to the pole. So you have to make this connection good or consult an engineer. Here is again the end gable wall. Look at the pole going all the way one piece to the roof. Again, very diverse. An RV park, a garage. Look like an office, nice office building to me. Again, a shop. Very, very diverse. One more, please. Again, that looks like an office building to me. A shop. Very different sizes and shape. That's a horse arena, horse barn. It's used a lot. There is a big, big building. Look at that. I mean, there is no limit on the size when you use really pole system. It's a pole system. It's fixed in the ground. It's sticking up to resist both vertical and lateral loads. Even though we tend to call them pole barns, but it doesn't have to be barn. It could be anything. There is nice office building. Here you go. Even above the ground. The roof doesn't have to be just a triangle shape. It could be any shape that you want. Here's 2-story, another 2-story. And definitely for your safety, I highly recommend that you consult with me or any other licensed engineer, so you just make sure it's safe. Usually building department guys, for a certain size, let you do it by yourself. Once you exceed a certain size, and I highly recommend that you check with your building department, then in that case they ask you for a drawing and check with a licensed professional. Right, please? Great, Francis.
There's like 7 of them.
Take one more.
Keep going. 7.
That will conclude our short presentation about pole buildings. It could be office, it could be shop, it could be residence. And if you have any further question, you can ask me now. Or we have also free initial consultation later after you leave the home show. And also we have more information at our website, structure1.com. Anybody have a question for me, guys? Yes, sir.
Yeah. What's the ratio on how deep the hole is more?
Yeah, there is a rule of thumb. Usually it's 1/3 the height, usually. And usually it's about 2 foot diameter. So when you dig a hole, you dig a 2 foot diameter hole. And you stick the pole 1/3 of the height, roughly. And then you fill it with concrete. This is just roughly, and you need to check with somebody.
You're going 6 feet from the ground up. You want to put 2 feet. You want to get 8 foot pole or 6 feet up.
Yes. Let's say this is the traditional one. If you would like to go, for example, a 9 foot high, even. A 9 foot, you divide the 9 by 3, will give you 3 foot, but we usually don't go, minimum is 4 foot. So it's 1/3, it's kind of generic. But usually, the way I design it, minimum 4 foot into the ground, buried in a 2 foot wide diameter concrete.
Okay, so like 4 feet down to the ground. And how large are the poles? Do they make?
The poles usually start from, for a small building, 6 by 6. It has to be pressure treated, but sometimes it goes 6 by 8 and sometimes 6 by 10. And in some cases, when you have a big pole barn, it goes 8 by 12.
Right. But
It just depends on the size.
the length of the pole itself.
The how high it is and where are you. For example, if you are near the coast and you have high wind, then the pole tend to be bigger when we crunch a number for it. If you are inland and the wind speed is low, then you can get by with a smaller pole.
Right. So, what I'm mentioning is the length of poles. How many sizes? Right?
Or they come in different sizes based on your need. For example, if you are doing 9-foot eave height, then they say 9 and 4 is 13. Then you go and buy 13. Yes, you can buy any length that you want that fit your project.
Where would you get this?
Or any wood lumber supply. We have them. And even if they don't have it on shelf, they can order it for you specifically. Yes, ma'am.
We asked the same question. I wanted to know if you use pressure treating going down to the cement hull.
Yes, the question is, do we have to use pressure treated? And the answer is absolutely yes. The code does require that any wood that touches the ground or the concrete, it must be naturally decay resistance, or most likely it is pressure treated. So pressure treated is required because the wood is touching the concrete or the soil in that case. And by the way, it's good for you too. It lives much longer. So yeah, usually when the wood touch when the wood touch soil or concrete, it is required to be pressure treated. Yes. Duck fair is usually the best, but we usually also use sometimes pressure treated hem fair. Hem fair is more available.